speech with words just spoken. Bolt of lightning hits the rod, sending power to where it's not. Center stage, the whole world sees what's played out in a million degrees. Just like Michael Jackson's life before us, all that's broken, all that's right, joined in one chorus. Lightning, lightning, grand illusion of a world at play. All the struggles buried deep, love and tenderness up against the pain. Lightning, lightning. Held together by its dreams, pulled apart by two driven teams. Life is lightning caught between what's sublime and what's obscene. Lightning, lightning, grand illusion of a world at play. All the struggles buried deep, love and tenderness up against the pain. Lightning, lightning, lightning.
We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. 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 We
safe and high, way up in the sky, there's a paradise in heaven. What I'd like to find is that peace of mind, while my feet are still touching the ground. Somewhere in the universe, dreams go on so far beyond the dawn. I believe in unicorns. I can see one sleeping on my lawn. Somewhere safe and high, way up in the sky, there's a paradise in heaven. What I'd like to find is that peace of mind, while my feet are still touching the ground. While my feet are still touching the ground.
Good morning. Happy New Year. Welcome once again to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church Shreveport's online service. We're really glad you're here with us today. We come together in a spirit of mutual respect. We come here to learn more about how to be respectful of people with different opinions, to respect ourselves, to grow, to become all we can be, or at least more of who we already are and just don't realize it. But whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, if you care to be here with us in mutual respect, you are always welcome. We have worship services, and we use the word worship with its old English roots, meaning to elevate and contemplate matters of worth. Because we endeavor to incorporate diversity here, those matters of worth may be variable from one person to another. Still, we set aside time to come together and worship. We front load the service with a little bit of information, so bear with us for a few minutes. We'll get through some announcements and move right into the service after that. Thank you so much.
Morning. My name is Amanda Lawrence. Right now I'm serving as the Vice President of the Board. This morning's announcements contain a balance of things All Souls would like to do for you, and things you can do for All Souls, and things that we can do in the larger community. Today after the service will be family religious education. There'll be a Zoom link available on Slack and also in the Facebook group. The next Children's Zoom Play Day will be this Saturday, January 9th at 11 a.m. Watch for the link in all the usual places so that our kids can get together and play safely and have some fun together. This Wednesday, as always, is Zoom lunch at noon. You can find that link in the outgoing email. I suspect that our Facebook, I don't know, our little Facebook friend will put that link in the chat below as well. So those are the ways that All Souls would like to reach out to you. This church is supported only by the donations of its members. So we are always asking for your support so that we can continue doing the things that we do. In addition to donations, which are always appreciated, if you can make a yearly pledge, that helps us enormously in terms of our planning for the budget. If you haven't done that yet, please do so. I bet that link will show up in just a second as well. Those are the ways that we help each other and you can help us within the community of All Souls. There are also ways that our church helps our community at large. The first one is, this is our Knoll Food Pantry Sunday. Melissa Lewis will be outside the church collecting food for the Knoll United Methodist Food Pantry this afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. This can be a contactless delivery. So if you have the bags in a place that she can get them, you don't even need to come anywhere close to anyone. The food pantry appreciates any food donations, but in particular right now, they're asking for cheese and peanut butter crackers, tuna in pop-top cans, Vienna sausage in pop-top cans, 8-ounce juice boxes, fruit cups or applesauce cups, small cereal boxes, breakfast bars, and Pop-Tarts. Food insecurity is one of the biggest challenges facing our community. So the other upcoming way for us to serve our community also is food related, and that's the Highland Blessing Dinner. On Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Highland Center, hot meals are being handed out to drive up and walk up visitors. So volunteers are needed, gloves are provided, masks are not. So if you'd like to help, please be sure that you bring a mask. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Susan Caldwell. I'm the Director of Religious Education at All Souls, and I want to thank Amanda for covering things so nicely. I barely have anything to do, and that is a great thing. I did want to point out one thing that's not a church event, but that I very much encourage you to attend. It is a Zoom event. It's virtual, so be very safe, and that is the League of Women Voters on a week from this Tuesday, January 12th at 6:30 p.m. They will be having a program about redistricting in Louisiana and kind of the ins and outs of how that all works and what we need to be doing to help assure that is done in maybe a more fair manner than it's been done in the past, let's just say. And so there's a link to register. When you register, you'll receive a link to join the meeting that evening. And very much I've heard that this is an excellent program. The woman who presents it does a great job. I've heard from people who've already seen it. And so we're trying to really encourage people all around the state to attend. So it is on All Souls Facebook page. The link's going to be below, but there are also separate posts about it on our Facebook page, on North Louisiana Interfaith, of course, on the League of Women Voters. Together We Win. It's all over the place. So find the link, register, and be sure to attend. And I look forward to seeing kids today at 1 o'clock for family religious education. We'll be talking a little bit more about balance and maybe doing some fun stuff around that. So thank you.
So, I want to appreciate everything everybody just shared with us. I'm going to need that list of things we can bring for the food pantry again, maybe in our Facebook chat, and it may already be there, but I appreciate all of that. That's a longer list than usual. We do these services as close to live as we can, so we are here with you while this is going down, and because of that, we are not trying to have it perfect, and we hope that whatever flaws may happen along the way, you can accept as the balance of reality. Thank you for being here again. We're going to move now towards a spirit of worship. And we'll talk to you soon.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body,
We pause in the stillness to rest for a moment, to quiet ourselves so that we can feel what stirs within. Each breath draws us closer to the pulse of life, and with each exhalation, we make room for something new. May we find in this gathering the comfort of those who care. May we encounter patience along our growing edges and compassion in our most tender spots. Here, may we find the inspiration and courage we need to face our challenges and to nurture ourselves. From Erica Hewitt. This is the season of endings and beginnings, when the small signs of dawn pierce through the night and something new is born. But first comes the waiting. First come the lessons of endings and beginnings. The presence of life, the sheltering spirit of love, grieves with those sweeping up the debris of loss, waits with those who restlessly reach out for change, grants us courage in the night to guard each other's dreams for this holy, wondrous universe. Grant us, O universe unfolding in mystery, a sense of your timing. May we loosen our grip on that which doesn't serve us, leaving behind that which we have outworn and outgrown. Teach us the lessons of beginnings. Remind us that such waitings and endings may be a starting place, a planting of seeds which bring to birth what is ready to be born, something right and just and different, a new song, a deeper relationship, a fuller love, and the fullness of time. Valerie, we'd like you to share with us. Thank you. For our first chalice lighting of the morning, we'd like to invite the Loggins family, Cole and Lily, and maybe John, if he floats through.
All right, here we are. Okay. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart.
Thank you so very much. I light this chalice for all that you've done, for all you've fostered and cultivated and nudged, for all you've suggested and directed and maneuvered. I light this chalice for the intensity of your reactions in responding to grace and rejecting mediocrity within the tender balance between tradition and choice. I light this chalice for your being here, now, out of calling, out of commitment, out of love, out of searching, out of longing. I light this chalice for you. And from one of the previous ministers of this congregation, Burton Carley, we have these words. We gather on this Sabbath morn to worship in spirit and truth, to perhaps join in raising a joyful noise to the eternal mystery, to reconfirm our covenant to seek wisdom and love, to strengthen our commitment to the common good. We come from many paths to explore that which is hidden, to consider the ways of our hearts, to confess how we have stumbled, to heal what is broken. We assemble in the effort to quicken our compassion and our mercy, to deepen our understanding, to renew our courage, to remember who we are. Thus do we celebrate the grace and the gift of life and practice our faith to the greater glory of the Spirit. I'd like to invite Ken Peterson, if he will, to lead us in our unison affirmation. And after that, if Valerie will share with us once more.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other.
I'd love to invite you to sing along, if you will, on these songs. I think lyrics may be available. We're only doing the first verse of the first song. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the dark night. I can love more. I can love bigger. I can love those who don't love me. Do we have lyrics? No? I can love more, though we might differ. I can love those who don't agree. I think I'll do that verse again when we get to the end of the song. Love is a door, balanced and centered, tied to the core of all we see. Love is a door. Love makes us better, more than we ever hoped to be. And now this is going to come around more than once. It's nothing. It's nothing weak or geeky, mushy or dumb. It's the only way our human limits can be overcome. It's not about if I like you or the things you do. It's a way to live. As I open deeper, I find I'm one with you. Love isn't small, isn't contingent. Love asks a lot of all we do. Love isn't small as it's intended. Takes all we've got to live up to. It's nothing weak or geeky, mushy or dumb. It's the only way our human limits can be overcome. It's not about if I like you or the things you do. It's a way to live. As I open deeper, I find I'm one with you. I can love more, I can love bigger, I can love those who don't love me. I can love more, though we might differ. I can love you. Can you love me? So love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the dark night. Miss Susan?
Thanks, Barbara, and thanks for the songs. Today, since we're talking about balance, I want to tell you a story that I've told before. And as I always say, as my father used to say, you haven't heard it today. Or maybe you have, but that's okay. You can hear it again. So I'd like to tell you the story about Rabbi Simcha Bunim, who was a rabbi in the 19th century who was a rabbi in the 19th century in Poland. And I'll get this where you can see it better. There we go. That's his picture. Rabbi Simcha Bunim of Pszczyszka. And he told a story that went like this. He said, everyone must have 2 pockets with a note in each pocket so that he can reach into the one or the other depending on the need. When feeling lowly and depressed, discouraged, or disconsolate, one should reach into the right pocket and there find the words, "For my sake, the world was created." But when feeling high and mighty, one should reach into the left pocket and find the words, "I am but dust and ashes." Remembering that for our sake the world was created and that each one of us carries that spark of God or light or goodness in each of us can call us to be our best and highest selves when we most need to remember that. On the other hand, or in the other pocket, if we're getting too full of ourselves or thinking ourselves better than somebody else, it's good to remember that we're made of the same stuff as everyone and everything, no more important than anyone or anything else. But I like to look at the balance of both sides, actually, because this knowledge sometimes that we are dust and ashes is not necessarily just to take us down a peg or two. Sometimes it can take the pressure off. Those times we forget that we're not the boss of the universe, that we're not in control of everything. Sometimes it's comforting to remember we are but dust and ashes. We are all the same stuff that everything and everyone else is. And sometimes remembering that for us the world was created can be a help to us to really rise to an occasion, to really, as I said, to rise to be our best selves when we're maybe not feeling the best, or when we're feeling a little, as Rabbi Simcha said, when we're feeling a little full of ourselves, to remember the responsibility that actually comes with walking in this world, with being in this world. So both of these things can be true at the same time. And if you don't carry those little pieces of paper with you, I maybe recommend that you try that. If not in your pockets, say in two sides of your wallet or different pockets in your purse or whatever is convenient for you. But where you can reach in and find one or the other. I appreciate you listening to me, and may you find the balance you need in this new year.
Good morning. For today's meditation, let yourself find a comfortable position where your body can be balanced and your spine straight. Begin with a deep, comfortable breath, shifting your attention to your heart space. And imagine breathing in and out of your heart. Allow your breath to deepen and slow. Allow your breath to be soft and kind. For today's meditation, reflect. I am not called to some distant goal. I am called to return to the still center of peace and joy that balances every change that life can offer. In the midst of change, I will find the balance point of this moment's presence, the place of harmony that renews and refreshes my spirit, the place that embraces all that comes and goes. As I encounter storms of conflict, I will rest in the balance point of an open heart. In a world filled with endless demands, I will center in patience. In a world with much noise that clamors for my attention, I'll balance myself in the stillness and healing of this moment's breath. And when I feel the call to struggle against too much or too little, I will let go and trust the balance that brings peace, the equanimity that embraces and welcomes all. And as I open my heart to beloved community with such great diversity of life and thought and story, I will center myself in compassion, the sacred place that unifies and heals one and all. I rest in this moment's breath, this moment's awareness, where all the strands of life are woven into beauty, peace, and wholeness. As I breathe in, I touch my center. And as I breathe out, I share my heart.
Tai Chi refers to the ancient Chinese idea of the interplay between two opposite yet complementary forces. I want to thank Janis Gabriel for sharing that with us, and I wanted to let you know the information on the screen is not accurate right now. She has moved into another state, and I'm sure is still being Sifu of Taoist concerns and teaching both Tai Chi and Qigong. But Yin and Yang, that's the foundation of creation. Maybe you're familiar with the symbol. Perhaps you've seen the symbol for it, the yin-yang. Yang is associated with heat and light. Yin is associated with darkness and cold. Yin and yang stand for opposites like night and day, white and black, happy and sad. But together they represent a balance in nature and in life. The practice of Tai Chi lets one balance those energies. It helps one calm and get more clear-headed.
That was glorious transition music. I love it. Hello again. I'm still Amanda Lawrence. I'm still the vice president of the board. I'm also a mother. I'm also a teacher. I'm a department chair and a quiz bowl coach and an engineering club sponsor. And I'm certain some other things I'm forgetting about. I wear a lot of hats is what I'm trying to say. And when Barbara called and asked me to be a part of that service, she mentioned the many hats that I wear. And I feel like there are a whole lot of people in this congregation that she could have called who also wear an enormous number of hats. So I don't know, I felt a little honored that she picked me to talk. So she asked me to talk about balance. And I was really excited because I've been thinking a lot about balance lately. But I'm a science teacher, so I think about it in terms of science. So buckle up, folks. There's going to be a little science here, but I promise there won't be a quiz at the end. In science, we think of balance as a subset of equilibrium. A system at equilibrium isn't changing from a distance. Oftentimes, there are many changes happening where we can't see them, but from a distance, everything looks still. There are two kinds of equilibrium in science, and I'm going to try to show you those with a visual aid. This is an example of an unstable equilibrium. So the ring is in equilibrium. It's not moving, it's swaying back and forth, but it's not going anywhere left or right. If I perturb this system, if I move it just a little, it's going to slide. So the system is in equilibrium, but the response to any sort of motion away from equilibrium is more and more motion away from equilibrium. This kind of equilibrium is tentative and it's fragile. But there's another kind of equilibrium in science. There's a stable equilibrium. A stable equilibrium at first looks sort of like an unstable equilibrium. This ring is also not going anywhere. The difference comes when I perturb it, when I move it to one side or the other. When I move the ring this way, it falls back that way. When I move the ring this way, it falls back that way. The equilibrium is stable. This is the position that the ring wants to come back to. And maybe it's its home. We see this in chemistry as well. When a chemical reaction is in equilibrium, we use this symbol to represent it. And what it indicates is that the reaction is going in both directions at the same time. The forward reaction happens and the reverse reaction happens. The system is at equilibrium when those two reactions happen at the same rate. Every time the system goes one way, it also goes the other way. So from a distance, it seems to stay the same. It's sort of the analogy of the duck on the water. Everything seems really calm because you can't see all the paddling happening under the water. Well, the idea that the system will come back to equilibrium has a fancy French name. You gotta love a good fancy French name. A guy named Henri-Louis Le Chatelier. Talk about a mouthful of a French name. Le Chatelier discovered the principle that when you shift a system away from chemical equilibrium, it'll try to get back to it. One of the things that I love about teaching Le Chatelier's principle is we talk about those shifts in terms of stresses. When we stress a system at equilibrium, it reacts to come back to equilibrium. If I add reactants to a system at equilibrium, the system turns some of them into products until it's balanced again. If I add products to a system at equilibrium, the system turns some of them into reactants until it's back at equilibrium again. I picture the system reacting to a stress by saying, all right, here we go again, which is the way I always wish I would react to stress. One of my goals for the past few months, my ongoing goals for 2021, is to remember that my balance can be a stable equilibrium. My balance doesn't have to be the ethereal, tentative, uncertain balance at the top of the hill, a place that I can barely reach and definitely won't get to stay very long. Instead, my balance can be a stable equilibrium. It can be the point at the bottom that I trust I'll come back to when and when, not if, when and when I get stressed away from equilibrium, it's a place I can come home to.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There
Thank you, Valerie. Valerie Loridans, who is sharing with us yoga poses this morning, is someone who, when we are back to life outside of COVID distancing, offers yoga at All Souls. And you may want to try to pay attention to that when we get back to activities that might be a bit more familiar than what we've been in for the last 8 or 9 or whatever months. But thank you, Valerie. Those balancings are things that I aspire to, that much flexibility and strength. There's an ancient Greek from 22 centuries ago named Archimedes who said, "Give me a lever and a place to stand and I will move the world." Archimedes noticed that if a lever were balanced in the correct place, on just the right fulcrum, it could move proportionally much greater weight than the force applied. Archimedes imagined a fixed point, the fulcrum in space, and if the Earth rested on the short end of a lever close to the fulcrum, and Archimedes was quite at some distance out pulling down on it, with the fulcrum in the right place, the right kind of fulcrum, I guess, Archimedes decided that the little bit of weight and pressure he could put on this incredibly long lever would be enough to move the world. His small weight would be multiplied enough to move the world. Able to move the world. Sometimes I can imagine, sometimes it takes all we have just to move ourselves. Either we have a stable balancing point, or we don't. But having one seems to be an essential part of what Amanda was talking about in equilibrium. Maybe not, a stable balancing point works in her images as well. But something where you're grounded. Amanda talked about that stable equilibrium being at a place of depth, moving into our centers, moving into something that's trustworthy, that stays the same, even though we are always changing. When we sit perfectly still, every atom in our bodies is whirling around. We will ultimately breathe, unless, we decide to check out at that moment. Our hearts will beat. So many things are in motion, even if we are sitting still. Now, Albert Einstein said, to stay in balance, life is like a bicycle. You have to be in motion, but you don't have to be moving to be in motion. This second is not the same as this one. Our thoughts are not exactly what they were 2 seconds ago. Our bodies are not exactly what they were 2 seconds ago. We are forever in a new balance with ourselves, with our thoughts, with our physiology. So a new balance doesn't always necessarily mean a better one. I think when we consider balance with outside forces, we have to keep the possibility of paradox being the place of balance. A place where things that seemingly work against each other, like Amanda's arrows, pointing both directions at the same time, where two things that seem to work against each other, like Miss Susan's story of being but dust and ashes, and also being that for which the world was created, where all of those opposing forces exist simultaneously and don't cancel one another out. In the yin-yang, in Tai Chi, in yoga, the balance is not watering down the hot and the cold. It's where hot and cold come together. It's not lukewarm. It is not where darkness and light fail to exist anymore. It's where they both exist. And those kinds of things are really hard for us to wrap our heads around. But in the balance of nature, they are both there. And at our core, at our fulcrum, we can find peace with that, with not having to be able to wrap our heads around it and move it all into our intellectual understanding. Our spirits and our cores know this stuff. They are the stable equilibrium. They are the places that we can choose and practice coming back to. To have that kind of balance, I think, is the fulcrum that helps us move the world. Buddhist teacher Jack Kornfield explains the first step to creating more peace and balance in the world is learning to quiet our minds, like Larry often shares with us. If you want to live a life of balance, start now. This is a new year. Turn off the news for a while. Find a form of meditation that you can use. Find ways to be able to sit in stillness with yourself. If it's only briefly, let it be briefly, and then try to stretch that a little bit as you go along. Turn on Mozart, walk through the forest or the woods or by a lake or the bayou, or begin to make yourself a zone of peace. Let go of the latest story. Listen more deeply. When we react to insecurity with fear, we worsen the problems. We create a frightened society. Instead, we can use courage and compassion to respond calmly, with both prudent action and a fearless heart. Remember the story of Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. He told the story of a crowded refugee boat, and he said, if even one person on the boat stayed calm, it was enough. It showed the way for everyone to survive. It is our inner nobility and steadiness that we must call upon in our personal and collective difficulties. The Greek poet Hesiod is generally cited for the expression, moderation in all things is the best policy. He talked about measuring and the measure of moderation being best. And Oscar Wilde is credited with adding, in all things moderation, including moderation. Father Richard Rohr wrote, when you go to one side or the other too much, you find yourself either overly righteous or overly skeptical and cynical, and I think that calls us back to Miss Susan's story. There must be a healthy middle as we try to hold both the necessary light and the necessary darkness. We cannot settle today's confusion by pretending to have absolute certainty in one or the other. The middle way, like I said, isn't about lukewarm, watered-down ineffectiveness. The middle way isn't giving in, though letting go is clearly a helpful step in its discovery. Another paradox. Moderation, the middle way, balance, ever new, ever better balance. body, heart, mind, spirit, stamina, flexibility, emotional, psychological soundness, clear thoughts, teachability, humility, openness, strength, trust, balance. This year, as we are finding continuing new balance, let us be kind to ourselves by also intending to make the balance one that is full and true, that better serves our well-being and thus more easily moves the world. So we can confidently say and mean we're not just getting older, we're getting better. May this new year follow likewise. Valerie, I ask you for your final offering.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is happiness somewhere. There is happiness somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is happiness somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere.
As we extinguish our chalice, I don't even know if you could see the flame against the lights today, but it's been here, and I invite you to carry it with you. Letting go, setting our intentions, committing our energies, and giving ourselves over to lives of balance, purpose, meaning, compassion. Let us begin again in love. Lovely to have you here. Happy New Year again. Go in peace. Namaste. Ashe. Amen. Blessed be. So be it.
Gonna keep on walking forward. together.